show that we are. It's your first time here, and it's my first time here, and obviously the major subject is time.
Yeah.
How would you contextualize the most profound attribute of time?
Well, the most profound thing I could say is we don't know what it is.
Okay.
So you might think, well, what is it? It's Einstein apparently said it's the thing you measure on a watch. That doesn't help you very much. So the fundamental level, there's actually research going on, a lot of research into what it actually is.
Right.
What are these things actually measuring? The answer is we don't actually know at the Lindquist level. There are theories now from studying black holes actually, which is suggesting that space and time, which are kind of mixed up together, are made of something else. So I'll leave it at that. So building blocks of space and time.
You know what? I always wonder, right? Where did it start? When did we start measuring time?
Well, so where did time start? So we used to say it was the Big Bang, right? So you say the origin of the universe, 13.8 billion years ago, time began. But now actually we have theories that the universe might have been around before the Big Bang, which means before everything got very hot and very dense. And we used to think there was a beginning, maybe it isn't. And then we realized that really we need to know what time is before we can even talk about a beginning. But when we start measuring it, it's interesting actually, until the 1940s, we didn't have clocks or watches that were accurate enough to see that it's not a good idea to just define a second in terms of, the Earth's rotation. Because the Earth's rotation isn't fixed, it changes. Changes with on how the wind's blowing or earthquakes, it changes quite a bit. Well, quite a bit, tiny bit. So then you start saying, well, we'll have to redefine a second then. So in the 50s, it gets redefined as something to do with a year, because the Earth's orbit is more stable than its spin. And then there were two ways of doing that. And then we got atomic clocks in the 60s and said, no, it's to do with atoms, the way atoms behave. So currently, we define a second in terms of the light emitted when atoms do things. But so it's actually even the story, until the 1940s, we didn't really think about it too much, because we didn't have very accurate clocks. Now we have very accurate clocks. We have to worry about it.
Before that, we did use those same clocks to navigate through these.
So yeah, exactly. So we, as you say, we needed accurate clocks for navigation, which is where a lot of the technology of these things came from. But then we talked about 1700s, I suppose, 1600s. But before that, you think about the calendar, it's remarkable to me. So the Earth's, here's the thing, so the Earth's axis goes around, so it doesn't always point to the North Star. So the North Star point, that's north. But it goes round every 26,000 years. And the year we were defining in terms of the Earth's axis, actually. So in 150 BC, Hipparchus, the Greek mathematician philosopher, noticed that there was there's something going on there. So we're talking about a wobble.
150 BC.
The Earth's actually 26,000 year circle it makes on the sky. So even then, people were thinking very accurately about astronomy.
I spoke to my wife and I said I might have the opportunity to talk to Professor Brian Cox. What question would you get in there? And she's asked him what he wishes that he'd discovered.
I think, I would have loved to discover Einstein's theory of general relativity.
Okay.
But Einstein beat me to it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, literally, for your time. It was a real pleasure. Thank you so much.
We're going to pick out a watch for James. Let me explain. As James is wearing my watch, I need to make sure that he's not leaving with my watch. So
you put one of these on my wrist at Monterey Car Week. Blew my mind. Because A, of how complex it was, but the thing that struck me the most, and this is just the car nerd in me, it looks like a wrist engine.
Yeah.
Because it is living, breathing, the movement is stunning, but the theater of it, it's constantly alive, right? And it's one of the most theatrical watches that I've had the pleasure to have on my wrist. And I said to Nico in August, one day I aspire to one of these. And any time I ever thought, now's the time to buy a watch, I normally blow it on a car.
Aye.
But today, right, we're going to get into an actual freak.
UN is a really, really old and really important watch brand. Like they were at some point the main company for making marine chronometers. Like they were the main brand. About 5 years ago, there was a management buyout from a conglomerate called Kering. The old management, the old group of people that were proper enthusiasts are now running the company.
So this is like a petrol head becoming the CEO rather than a businessman.
Exactly. The most important foundations are not how good is your product or what is the people.
Yeah.
And the people are the most important thing. And This is what you see here today.
When I say they're like wrist engines, on the latest Freak, that component there is a differential,
It's
like
a
an
diff,
actual
yeah.
diff. It is the world's smallest diff, and it's active on your wrist. It's the,
Exactly.
it's the coolest thing.
Incredible engineering, because this is the most complicated time-only watch in the world. There's not another watch, time-only, that is
Just
as
that complex.
complicated as this.
How old is the Freak name? Like, how long does that go back?
2001.
2001. Okay, wow.
Freak was not supposed to be the name of the collection.
Okay.
It was the code name of the project.
It was a project name.
It was the project name because they wanted, the Ludwig Oechsling, the Danish watchmaker, the owner at that time, wanted to create, to disrupt the industry.
Okay.
And they wanted to bring, a leap innovation, something that will really change watchmaking. So, and they wanted to, the brief was trying to make a watch without hands, without dial, without a crown, and to pioneer the technology of the silicon. They didn't know if they were about to succeed, but they did. And then they said there is no better name. That's
Freak.
the code name, Freak.
Just keep it.
Yes.
So here we are.
Here we are. It's quite an interesting scenario because in August, this man introduced me to the brand. He put a Freak on my wrist for the best part of 2 weeks. I looked at it when I woke up. I looked at it anytime I had any spare moments. I looked at it before I went to bed. Everything about it was just captivating. And I wore it for the 2 weeks. And when he said, I need to take that back, I was sad. Right? And then when we were on the journey of considering which watch, I know you've got a whole array of some fantastic stuff, but there was something about that personal journey of being and what's great, like we're overlapping like watch world, car world. Yeah. And there's something that's come full circle here where him dipping me into the first experience of this brand, the material, the aesthetic, it's just spot on. So this is the reason why it's this Freak. And it's awesome to do it here because it's my very first Watches and Wonders.
First Watches and Wonders.
First Watches and Wonders, which is special.
And it might be soon your birthday?
It's my birthday on Sunday. Yeah, which just so happens to be his daughter's birthday on Sunday.
Yes.
Isn't that weird? That's kind of weird.
Did you hear that?
What's that?
That was the maddest thing.
Go on.
So in the history of books, Ulysse Nardin, Ulysse
Yeah.
is the first name, Nardin is the surname.
Yeah.
Right? That's Ulysse Nardin. In the middle it was Leonard.
Get out.
Yes.
No.
But
No.
nobody knew this.
No.
Nobody knew this. We were standing in the museum reading some papers and I'm like, that's name Leonard. What's the
Well,
name
it's
Leonard in there?
Ulysse Leonard Nardin.
Yes.
Mate, that's weird. I've learned everything so far from this man, but seeing as I've got the privilege of being sat with you, how do you introduce a relative newbie to the significance of the Freak and what it's all about?
I would say that Freak changed
sir.
the game of modern watchmaking because it gave birth to modern watchmaking in 2001.
Okay.
Because it's been a revolution in mechanics, in design, and also in terms of technology because the Freak pioneered the use of silicon in the component of the watch. And that has been a game changer because even today, brands like Tissot, now that the patent has been, over 20 years,
Sure.
is using silicon for its benefits, for the mechanism of the watch, because it's much more hard, long term,
Sure.
much more efficient, and therefore, it became mainstream. But the pioneer of that technology that now is helping the watchmaking industry, it's Yuan.
That's cool.
And the way I would put it is, you'll see that the movement is indicating the time. You don't have actually any hands. And to me, it is the most complicated time-only watch because you only get the hour and the minute.
It's very cool. It looks like a little wrist engine. That's why I like it, because it's theatrical. You can see it's living, breathing on you. Oh, dude, it's so nice.
Look at that.
I remember walking around Monterey Car Week, the amount of conversation. So this is the other thing with this watch, and another reason for my appreciation of watches is the people that I've met through them as a result of conversation about them. Oftentimes it's brand-led, because people are confident saying, oh, that's an AP, or oh, that's a Rolex.
Yeah.
With this, it was what's that? And how's that work? And that was a different thing, because you started speaking about it from an engineering passion point of view, not it's a nice Rolex or it's a nice AP. It was like, you wouldn't believe this thing, right? Plus I'm lazy and it's got a Velcro strap, so.
The Freak, collection is the most exclusive among all our collection, and Freak is south of 1,000. So with Freak X, Freak 1, and Freak S. So the Freak X Rose Gold you've got here, basically it's annual production, you know, in the region of 100 or less.
Seriously, that low?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
And we don't intend to,
That's
you know,
cool.
increase production.
That's really nice. There is something special about that, actually, having like a really low production number. Even psychologically makes it feel special, right? Absolutely, it's brilliant. It's really, really special. You can see the hour hand underneath here, and this is the minute. And you can see as it moves, the actual movement itself is the hand. And this is approaching 6 o'clock now, you see it? How wild is that? It must have taken some serious head scratching to make this work.
It did indeed, you know, and it's the very first Freak, the Freak X, that we managed to have with a crown. Usually the Freak, like the Freak one that I have, you know, doesn't come with a crown, but we wanted to make it more practical, you know, more versatile, and here we go. So yes, it's been a bit of a challenge.
And this is 43 mil, huh?
Yes, 43 mil, but it actually
Where's like a 41 almost?
It looks smaller.
It's much smaller than it actually is.
We spend a lot of time, you know, on the ergonomy. We want to make sure that the watches fits well.
Buddy, thank you so much for finding
Thank
me
you,
a watch.
Jess.
Really appreciate that. Thank
You're
you for
welcome.
putting me onto this. I'm going to treat this better than my AP because one day I'll show you my AP. I've got a 42 mil. It's a run and joke. It's like destroyed.
Yeah.
Like it's borderline embarrassing, right?
No, it is embarrassing.
Okay.
Right. First watch show.
First watch show.
What do you think?
It got very expensive very quickly thanks to you.
Yeah,
Great.
no worries.
So that was good.
That is always with me, by the way.
Yeah, so there's that. Great people.
Yeah.
The standard of the environment, I'll keep on saying it, is unbelievable. I've
Yes.
never been to an event that has this palatial presence for a week. I mean, just look at this stuff. So the quality of the environment, amazing. Good people. Hospitality off the charts.
Yeah.
If you like champagne, this is the place.
Free champagne flowing the whole day.
All day long.
Unlimited, like.
I'll come back next year. I'll
Would
come
you?
back next year, yeah. Anyway,
You know what
it's
the
my
funny bit
turn
is?
next. You're coming
Sure.
with me to
Goodwood Festival.
Goodwood
Speed,
Festival Speed, Car Week,
Monterey Car Week,
Gumball, Revival in
I
September.
would love that. I would love that. This is still funny, mate. This is still so
funny.
funny.
Still funny.